Hey folks, I'm attorney Roger P. Foley, and I was just watching State of Florida versus Donald Hartung, case I've been commenting on Law and Crime Network, case that I've been following, a case I made a video about, the inmate the other day in the cross-examination, how it was just done expertly by one of the defense team members. So the one portion of the trial that I hadn't watched was the direct examination and the cross-examination of, let's just call them the active neighbor, the neighbor that knows what time you take out the garbage, the neighbor that knows what vehicles come in and out of your driveway, the neighbor that knows what time you go to work and what time you come home. I don't know, I think there's a word for that, nosy neighbor. So the nosy neighbor in this case, I got to tell you, the prosecution did a very good job with this guy and basically showed that all he did was sit and, I guess, watch the neighbor. The direct by the state attorney was outstanding. Very, very good job. And you know, I didn't say this the other day, but the state attorney, although I think that there's lack of evidence and what have you to get a conviction, especially on murder here, multiple murder, I do think that the state attorney is very talented, very crisp, just very good examiner, just asks the right questions, is doing an outstanding job. Very, very, very good prosecutor. So today, as I went back to watch the portion of, I don't know his name, the nosy neighbor. When I watched the nosy neighbor, I said to my wife as we're driving to Miami, I said, man, he's difficult to cross, because I found my heart rate increasing, going, like, this guy has an answer for everything. He drives this car, you come over the hill, you can see into the car, the guy's got a dog. I mean, this guy has a friggin' answer for everything. It's like his whole day, you know, like he's a video camera and he records everything. So I started to listen to the cross-examination and I'm going, okay, you know what? This guy's such a know-it-all. How do I do this? Well, we know that there's already been a deposition taken. The first thing that the defense attorney does is he says, hey, I think we met before, you gave a deposition. Yes, we did. And the guy said, we did it at so-and-so reporting agency. The nosy neighbor says this. That sort of validates his memory. Yes, we met 3 years ago. And sorry, some Miami person just cut in front of me. That's why I can't look at the camera. Anyway, so it sort of validated that he's got a good memory. Well, during the deposition, I think when I'm dealing with someone who just knows it all, I start to ask other questions, because if you know it all about this case, do you know it all about everything else? Because some people just seek attention or want to talk or sort of ad lib and they sound legitimate. So I started to say to my wife, I go, what about the other neighbors? There's not only 2 houses on the block. Who's your other neighbor? Oh, his name is, Frank. Yeah, what does Frank do for a living? How old is Frank's wife? What time does Frank's wife come, go to lunch? And what time? Hey, does the milkman come by? Does the mailman stay any longer? Because if you start saying, I don't know, and I'm not saying that the defense attorney should have did this during the trial, but when you have the opportunity to take a deposition and you're asking all the questions that you're likely to ask during trial, you want to explore. This guy's like, well, I knew this. The mother stays in the house. They get a lot of packages. There's always a lot of packages. They have a lot of garbage. Their garbage goes on my lawn. The one son works at Walmart. He's a little slow. The other son works for Homeland Security. Like, this guy knows everything, yet he admits that he's only ever talked to the family twice? Well, how long have they been neighbors? Twice? But he knows all this information, obviously a nosy neighbor. Well, what about the other people? What about the other neighbors? What about other things to show, why was he paying so much attention? Geez, at the end of it, I was starting to wonder if he was the murderer. That's just me. And if I'm thinking that, I'm going, well, maybe there's a theme there. Who knows, right? Did they investigate him? I don't know. He knows everything. But then at the very last thing, there was a quick recall, and the defense attorney goes, I just got one more question. I'm sorry, this is rude. Let me walk over to the lectern. And he says to him, how long were the police there? Oh, I don't know. It was late. I don't know. All of a sudden, he doesn't know something. He knows time, date, birth date, social security number, packaging, mailman, no cars, engine, his windows are open. Okay, well, you're in Escambia County in July of 2015. Pretty hot. It's pretty hot, right? Oh yeah, your AC's not working. You left your windows open? Like, do you got screens, right? Are flies coming into your house? My God, we're in Florida. Mosquitoes, are you getting bitten up, right? How much mosquito spray do you have on? If you're leaving all your windows open because your AC's not working, what I'm trying to say, folks, is that the defense has been outstanding. I think they missed something here. This is the most damaging witness for the defense that there is in the entire case. Why? He has an answer for everything, and he seems to be an old retired guy who really has nothing to do but sit, work on his tools, and pay attention to the neighbor. So you got to look for other things of what's going on. It was just too convenient. And one of the things that the defense attorney, he said this one statement, and as soon as he said it, I went, bad move. He asked him, he goes, well, you seem to know, he goes, you seem to be pretty, he says, you're accurate on everything else. So he just validated that this guy's memory is outstanding and this guy is paying attention. Well, if this guy's memory is accurate and this guy's statement is accurate, and he says that there was nobody at their house, no movement, no activity from the time that Donald Hartung left the residence on Tuesday at about twilight, and there was no activity, no motor, no gunshots, no nothing, doesn't that lead you to believe that Donald Hartung, the son, is the one who murdered his mother, slit her throat, shot her, slit the throat of the brothers and shot them? Doesn't that lead you to that conclusion? If there was nobody else there and this guy's that accurate and sits on his porch for, how many hours a day? 15 hours a day? Big mistake by the defense. They could have done more with cross-examination. Granted, I would say not just cross-examination, could have done more in their depot and asked more questions. Because obviously, if you don't know the answers to questions, you never ask them on cross-examination. So that's my take. If the jury's going to find Donald Hartung guilty, you know why he's going to find him guilty? Because of that one witness, the neighbor. I'm Attorney Roger P. Foley. Check out this trial. Look for similar trials on Law and Crime, Best Network. You can find them online. You can find them on television. I'm Attorney Roger P. Foley. Thanks again for listening.